Part 23. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhenshen. Chapter 221. I'm here to save you. Really? Thank you so much. But we've been saved. There's no coincidence. Steve Rogers happened to sneak in at this time. The two sides met and said it awkwardly. Captain America went through so much hardship and risked his life to get here. He almost died outside. He never expected that he would not be needed here. Deep in his heart, Steve just wanted to shout, "Damn it, you should have told me earlier that you could come out, so I wouldn't take this risk." During his sneaking, the Hydra base had been messed up by the alien gate. Killing and death were everywhere. Although ordinary people can't see the alien, the enhanced Captain America can roughly sense the position and outline of the alien. The protagonist is different. Feeling that the monster was killing humans, Steve felt that he had to eliminate the harm for humans, even though the monster was hunting German devils. So Captain America took the initiative to attack Laolu. Then he was almost made into sashimi by Laolu. Captain America, who had just been strengthened and was not familiar with his own strength, could not defeat a professional killing machine like the alien. Steve was able to survive thanks to Xiao Ming's ability to learn from his mistakes. In the Magic Planet, Xiao Ming's alien children mistakenly killed some players who should not have been killed. This is what happened just yesterday. Xiao Ming must learn a lesson. Green Xiao Ming is always paying attention to the children's movements. Laolu fought with Captain America and only had time to give Captain America 2 pounces and kill him. Green Xiao Ming discovered the matter in time. How could he fight with his own people? This is the protagonist. Xiao Ming quickly commanded Laolu to escape. Steve was lucky. Because he is agile, he dodged the alien's pounce in time. Otherwise, he would have died before he could accomplish his mission. Now, the alien is drooling. Captain America's physical fitness tastes good even if he is not a host. Although Steve was fine, his shield was completely destroyed after being hit by Laolu. Captain America reminded the soldiers who escaped from prison that it was a mess outside. There were invisible monsters killing people everywhere. He warned everyone to be careful. Then Captain America set out alone to continue looking for his best friend Bucky Barnes. According to the game routine, Xiao Ming should follow the protagonist all the way. There must be a lot of rewards over there. However, Xiao Ming considered that most American soldiers were still unarmed. If they went out like this, they would probably suffer heavy casualties. He still needed to escort them. This would reduce a large number of casualties. After rushing out, all the American soldiers were shocked. Is this still the heavily guarded Hydra base? There were flames everywhere outside, corpses everywhere, and broken vehicles everywhere. But there were only a few sporadic gunshots still ringing, and almost no active Hydra soldiers could be seen. The battle was basically over. Xiao He and the children had already lurked. No more killing everywhere. Avoid hurting our own people. Soldiers, you look at me, I look at you. Is this a slap in the face? Originally, everyone sneered at Captain America's description. Many people secretly complained, "With your strength, can you mess up so many enemies outside? Have you not woken up yet? And what about invisible monsters? Are you addicted to acting? You dare to brag about anything. Where did the monsters come from in this world?" At this time, I came out and saw that the outside was in ruins. I immediately upgraded my doubts about Captain America's words. It looks even more chaotic than Steve said. Maybe it was really a monster. Suddenly, with a creaking sound, a jeep deflated without warning not far away. It seemed to be stepped on by a huge invisible monster and deflated. Green Xiao Ming controlled Xia He and made this action on purpose to prevent everyone from suspecting Steve. This is not because Xiao Ming is a saint. But he thinks that people like Steve, whose life energy is so pure, should not be misunderstood because of himself. If it were any other ordinary person, Xiaoming would not have the leisure to help him out. With the threat of the invisible monster, the soldiers did not dare to stay any longer and rushed out, picking up some weapons and ammunition from the enemy soldiers. But no one dared to drive a tank, let alone a car, truck, or jeep. Who knows if the monster has any special hobbies, likes to step on vehicles or something. The best strategy is to run away. So, without experiencing any battle, the crowd ran all the way and escaped from the Hydra base smoothly. There were surviving Hydra soldiers in the base. But at this moment, they were all frightened birds. They hid in the corner trembling, fearing that any noise would alarm the invisible demons. How dare they attack the prisoners who escaped? There was no action, but there were a lot of ideas. It hurts my heart, why did those demons only kill us and not you? God, don't you feel guilty? Because they were worried that other German troops would find these American soldiers who had escaped. Not only did Silver Xiaoming leave the Hydra base with them, but Green Xiaoming also left. He led 10 aliens to spread out around the periphery of the US army to help them keep watch. Sometimes, the sentinels sent by the captured troops would pass by a certain alien. Xiaoming planned to go back to the base to pick up equipment after everyone reached a safe place. After all, monsters cannot be beaten in vain. But they did not expect that a huge explosion occurred in the base shortly after they left, turning the entire base into a pile of ruins. There was nothing to pick up. However, Green Xiaoming still went back and used Death Harvest on the ruins from a distance. He harvested a lot of death breath, bones, and more than 20 skeleton soldiers. They were all stored in Bright Summit. Xiaoming's alien did not kill too many Hydra soldiers. In fact, he only killed a small part. Most of the remaining ones were cleared by the explosion of the base. Steve and Bucky still escaped from the base smoothly and joined everyone. According to everyone's idea, they should return to the US military base as soon as possible. But as a time traveler, no, this situation does not seem to be called a time traveler. No matter what, as a modern person, in this situation, how can you not try the famous tactics of a great strategist, guerrilla warfare? Earth's Taiju was still shining during the World War on Pangu Star. Guerrilla warfare was also very famous. It can only be said that gold will always shine and alls will always come out. Xiaoming would feel sorry for himself if he didn't play guerrilla warfare in the secret realm and let these old hats see it. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 222. Brady's opinion on guerrilla warfare was opposed by many people. Everyone had just escaped from the prisoner camp, and they had nothing, including equipment, supplies. The soldiers' physical health was not very good. Could Hydra still let the prisoners eat and drink well? Red Skull's personality made him not care about the lives of his own people, let alone the prisoners. Only the people in the 107th Battalion had just been captured. They were still healthy. In this case, it was a bit unrealistic to conduct guerrilla warfare. The setting of the secret realm in the game, if the player's character is the US military, then Captain America alone cannot rescue the prisoners. Players need to advance a certain progress first. For example, players can first obtain the map, rescue a few people, capture a few people alive, etc. The follow-up will be completed by Captain America. Therefore, in the secret realm, the date of Captain America's arrival is not fixed. If the player completes his progress after a few days or more than 10 days, Steve will delay until then. Of course, if the player still cannot complete the task after a certain period of time, the system will determine that this progress has failed. Please start over. At this time, it depends on the player's choice. You can start over or skip this progress. In the Magic Planet game, the plot-based secret realms are almost all set up in this flexible way. And there are various other modes and ways of playing. Some secret realms require a large number of players to enter at the same time and divide into several parties for a chaotic battle. For example, the war involving the entire universe in Avengers 3. If the player is allowed to play alone, it would be a pity. It would be more interesting to play the secret realm with many players. When advancing the progress, you can advance separately. When it comes to the final battle, a large number of players must be online at the same time to have a big melee together, which is enough to be powerful. Of course, this situation will not happen in the short term, that is a matter of the future. At that time, the players will be more mature and will be smarter in handling secret realms. Of course, their strength will definitely be stronger. Back to the situation Xiaoming is facing now. Xiaoming played a decisive role in the process of rescuing the captives. So the system defaults that Xiaoming can make such a suggestion and will get a group of supporters. If other players do not make such great contributions, even if they want to play guerrilla warfare, they cannot do it. There are similar settings in the main game. That is, players should not try to make hot weapons or cement and other things that transcend the times. Who among modern people has not read a few books or TV dramas about time travel? When traveling to ancient times, glass, soap, cement, and gunpowder are all killer weapons. The game system will not let players make these inventions so easily. The prerequisite is that players must reach the level of Grandmaster or even Master in the corresponding craftsman profession. This is not something that can be done in a year or two. After all, this is a game, not a time travel. Players must have accumulation in the game. At this moment, Xiaoming's accumulation is enough. After his painstaking persuasion, everyone finally reached a consensus. Most people still have to return to the US military base due to physical reasons. And they also need a certain amount of protection. Only 30 or so of the healthiest and most capable soldiers can be divided into a small team. Go to the hinterland of the German army to fight guerrilla warfare. The troops returning to the base were led by Bucky Barnes, the guerrillas were led by Brady and Steve. The two troops parted ways. When leaving, Xiaoming suddenly felt a little strange, and he couldn't tell why. He always felt that there were other people around him. But he couldn't see it. This doesn't make sense. Now even if it's a ghost, it can't escape Xiaoming's eyes. There are still things he can't see. So magical. However, Xiaoming didn't detect any malice in the induction, so he put it aside for the time being. Guerrilla warfare is a trick that Xiaoming made, so Xiaoming must fight a battle first to show the system, there is a standard. For guerrilla warfare, the most important thing is intelligence. And Xiaoming's intelligence ability is beyond doubt. Not only does he have the ability of mind circle that can detect hundreds of meters or even thousands of meters. There is also Green Xiaoming wandering outside with the aliens. Their range of action is wider. The scope of reconnaissance has also expanded accordingly. The intelligence was solved. In terms of force, the guerrillas still had several super weapons stolen from the Hydra base. They had strong offensive capabilities. This is called everything is ready, only the east wind is missing. Soon after going deep into the enemy's rear, Lu Xiaoming found a German rear camp with lax vigilance. It was not the Hydra camp. The German army had just returned from a tough battle and was resting in the camp. Because the camp is far away from the front line, and the offensive of the US military today is relatively relaxed. So the vigilance here is slightly relaxed. The guerrilla sneak attack on this camp was a great success. The main reason for the success is that the real commander of this battle is neither Brady nor Steve. They are both rookie level now. Their personal combat power is very strong, but they have no experience in tactics. The specific combat plan was studied and decided by several veterans in the guerrillas. The US team is just the vanguard responsible for the charge. Xiaoming used his ability of lurking to enter the camp first to serve as an insider for the guerrillas, and tried to create chaos in the camp first. Xiaoming is very good at this kind of work. Theoretically, a special forces soldier has many ways to do this task. Xiaoming uses the explosion method. Ever since he killed his grandmother in the world of a Chinese ghost story, Xiaoming feels that the telekinetic bomb is really useful. No wonder the master Ganshu used bombs as weapons in the Hunter secret realm. In fact, Ganshu's use of bombs is completely different from Xiaoming's. Ganshu is actually a close combat master, and bombs are just a means to coerce others. Xiaoming is the one who really uses telekinetic bombs as bombs. Brady wore a German military uniform and used absolute to cover up his presence. He quietly walked around the entire German camp. He even went into the combat command center. No one took him seriously. In this way, Xiaoming packed up and took away many good things in the camp. He also left time telekinetic bombs everywhere in exchange. Then Xiaoming, who put safety first, left the German camp leisurely and returned to the guerrillas' hidden location. When Brady came back, he couldn't help but hear all kinds of questions. "Brady, weren't you an insider? Why are you back? What's going on inside? How many enemies are there? Are there any heavy weapons? Where are the firing points?" You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 223. Xiaoming wanted to show off in front of the guerrillas, so he deliberately delayed until the explosion was about to happen, and then counted down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then he snapped his fingers with ease. The sky collapsed, the masts and oars were destroyed, and the German camp exploded into a sea of fire. His teammates were stunned. The effect of showing off like this was undoubtedly great, and he was also very happy. But it delayed the battle, and the guerrillas missed the best time to attack. Dozens of American soldiers attacked the German camp of hundreds of people, all by taking them by surprise and attacking them by surprise. Xiaoming didn't dare to play that kind of game, where he was the only one in the team who knew the plan, and the others had to wait until the last critical moment to receive the order. This kind of battle arrangement that was like a magic trick was very irresponsible. Zhuge in real history never did this. If you put yourself in his shoes, Xiaoming would also feel very unhappy if his teammates played him like this. A battle, even a small one, involves the lives of teammates and the rise and fall of enemy and our strength. It cannot be neglected. So Xiaoming carefully told all the team members what he had done and what he had discovered. Of course, there are some things that need to be covered up. The bombs Xiaoming set up were all telekinetic bombs, and this point cannot be told truthfully. If the truth is told, they will not understand. They will even have many doubts. What the hell is telekinesis? Brady, are you possessed by evil spirits? So Xiaoming can only cover up and say, those time bombs were stolen by sneaking into the German arsenal. In this way, everyone is still a little suspicious, because Brady has done too many things. The intelligence he has discovered is too thorough. However, Brady's professional level has always been slightly stronger. And those detailed intelligence does not seem to be deceiving everyone. So the guerrillas decided to follow this plan first. The guerrilla team was divided into 3 groups, preparing for a surprise attack from 3 directions. As long as the bombs over there really explode on time, the guerrillas here can start the attack immediately. If the bombs don't explode, then drag Brady back and punish him. While waiting for the explosion, these veterans will still feel a little uneasy. In fact, everyone is a comrade in arms, and most of the veterans have believed Brady's words. However, even if Brady is right, he has stolen so many time bombs and placed them in various places in the German military camp. The time of the explosion is set very loose, so the chance of being discovered is high. So they are very worried that once one of them is discovered, the German army will immediately enter an emergency state. It will be difficult to launch a sneak attack again. They can't possibly know the magical use of telekinesis. Brady has arranged telekinesis bombs, and the Germans, who are all ordinary people in the military camp, can't find them. After all, the plot of this secret realm has not been fully unfolded, and the extraordinary people have not spread. They don't know that Brady set the explosion time so loosely because Xiaoming is too cowardly. The time for the timed explosion must be very spare, so as not to explode yourself. Xiaoming also didn't think carefully, and was habitually afraid of explosions. In fact, as long as he didn't get too close to the explosion, Xiaoming's telekinetic defense was enough to withstand the shockwave of the explosion. If he put on the alien suit and used Tu Neza to transform into a half-body armor, Xiaoming would not be afraid of low-intensity explosions at all. It's really hard for him, never forgetting his original intention. He can still maintain such a strong loser attribute now. Silver Xiaoming and the guerrillas lurked together waiting for the opportunity to raid. At the same time, Green Xiaoming took the initiative to exit the secret realm. Just when Xiaoming was lurking in the German camp to do something, he received a call from outside the game cabin. Adjutant Cecilia Jian asked him to exit as soon as possible. Halfway through the work, Xiaoming couldn't exit immediately. Although the system allowed him to exit, it would not suspend the secret realm for him. This secret realm will continue to calculate and develop according to the information collected by the system. At least the calculation of this battle will be completed. This is somewhat similar to the save of RPG games. Xiaoming is not allowed to save at this time. So Xiaoming must at least complete the preparations. At this time, Xiaoming didn't even want to let Green Xiaoming exit alone. Silver Xiaoming was still in danger. If something went wrong, Green Xiaoming would need to bring the aliens to rescue him. It wasn't until Silver Xiaoming left the German military camp and joined the guerrillas. Green Xiaoming chose to exit the secret realm, and Xiao He and the children disappeared accordingly. When Green Xiaoming wanted to control Zhang Xiaoliang's body and exit the game chamber, he suddenly felt a palpitation. No. There was a problem. It wasn't a problem with the outside world, but with himself. Xiaoming felt that if Zhang Xiaoliang's body left the game chamber, Silver Xiaoming would not be able to stay in the secret realm. Because the game chamber needs a body to start. And this special game chamber must have Zhang Xiaoliang's body in it. Besides, Xiaoming's two souls cannot leave the body, each must have a body attached. Even if it is a mind-beast body. They can't float around like that, and the two souls are not ghosts. For the time being, they haven't cultivated to the point where the soul can leave the body. Xiaoming's original plan was, Green Xiaoming controlled Zhang Xiaoliang to deal with the military, while Silver Xiaoming continued to stay in the secret realm to participate in the battle. Now the plan has failed. Zhang Xiaoliang's body left the game cabin would pause the game, and the two souls would be taken away. I am not happy, I want a bag. A greasy uncle in his 40s, no one cares if he acts cute. Xiaoming is unhappy, I just don't want two souls to go out together. Although every soul needs a body, not all souls need the same body. Through the game cabin and the quantum network, Silver Xiaoming traveled to the body of Xiaoming in the same fleet. Only Green Xiaoming was left in Zhang Xiaoliang's body. Continue to play with real two minds. This is an immature performance, a middle-aged uncle is completely childish. Zhang Xiaoliang pushed open the door of the game cabin and immediately understood why Cecilia called him. There were 4 or 5 light spirits floating around Xiaoliang, and light spirits kept passing through Xiaoliang's body. There were also beautiful adjutants, 3 officers and a dozen scientific researchers around, looking at the scene with shock on their faces. The light spirits are spherical in appearance, and in their eyes they are just a bunch of balls, floating around, making people worry that they will collide with each other, or even knock a few away. but they just don't collide with each other. Not only can the light spirits easily pass through obstacles, they can also penetrate each other. This is a new discovery. The phenomenon of light spirits penetrating each other has never been observed before. I have never seen the phenomenon of several light spirits repeatedly passing through the same human body. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 224. Although these military people could not understand why these light spirits repeatedly passed through Xiao Yang's body, Xiao Ming himself knew the reason very well. They were absorbing the superpowers he accidentally emitted, source energy. No matter which body he was in, unless there were special circumstances, Xiao Ming was generally emitting source energy to the outside world at all times, feeding back to the universe. The source energy emitted was also the most primitive, without any transformation. Although the amount was very small, it almost never stopped. Especially when Xiao Ming upgraded back from the reincarnation space, he not only obtained double source energy, but also increased the amount of source energy a lot. As a result, the amount of source energy that Xiao Ming unconsciously spread outward also increased significantly. More source energy naturally attracted more light spirits. This is why the light spirit appeared this time. This is also the reason why Xiao Ming felt in the secret realm a few hours ago that there seemed to be someone around his body. Because what he felt at that time was the light spirit surrounding Xiao Yang's body in reality. But Xiao Ming was still a rookie, and he didn't know whether it was in reality or in the game, so he was always suspicious. The light spirit appeared, and Cecilia, who was on duty at the time, immediately reported the abnormal situation to her superiors. So several officers and many scientific researchers came one after another. And there were more people who wanted to come in, but the room was not big enough. And they had to leave space for the light spirit to observe. All these people were outside, taking turns to visit with the people in the room. Xiao Ming would have sold tickets if he had known earlier. Lieutenant Adjutant Cecilia wanted to wake up Xiao Yang at that time. But she was stopped, and the scientific researchers asked to observe first. After quite a while, Cecilia was allowed to send a message to Xiao Ming in the game. Xiao Ming ignored the first 3 calls of the beautiful adjutant because he was too focused on using True 2 tasking. It was not until the 4th time that Cecilia used a more powerful call that Xiao Ming noticed. But because of the things in the secret realm, at the critical moment, Xiao Ming delayed for a while before coming out. Outside, both officers and researchers looked very unhappy. They suppressed their anger and did not criticize Xiao Ming for such a small matter. Xiao Ming could not be blamed for this matter. If it had been earlier, they would have asked Cecilia to inform Xiao Ming. At that time, Xiao Ming had nothing important to do, so it was easy to save and exit. But they insisted on delaying, and ended up delaying until Xiao Ming could not exit immediately. Who should be blamed for this? In theory, they also knew the importance of the game to some extent. But their faces were still not very good. Green Xiao Ming knew their thoughts with his life energy. In fact, such things can be seen by ordinary observation without telekinesis. But Xiao Ming didn't care at all. He had no obligation to meet all their requirements in time. What did he do earlier? Now, let's just make do with each other. What else can we do? To be honest, the light spirits around him are more pure. After carefully observing these 5 light spirits, Xiao Ming found that he could probably distinguish or feel something. They are somewhat similar to the state of the female ghost Xiao Hong. Of course, there are also great differences. Like Xiao Hong, they should be the souls or consciousness left after the death of intelligent life. It's just that Xiao Hong is in a world full of spiritual energy, and is taught by her grandmother. Through cultivation, she became a ghost cultivator, and was able to maintain her spiritual intelligence for a long time. The light spirits are different. They have been disturbed by some external energy, so they have survived. In terms of spiritual intelligence, They seem to be only equivalent to kittens and puppies, very simple. And it seems that they are not idle. In the past, Xiaoming had never used telekinesis to observe the light spirits carefully. At this time, it was observed that they also have life energy, but it is extremely weak, even less than an insect. With such weak life energy, Xiaoming doubts how long their lifespan is. It is precisely because of the weak life energy that the light spirits appear and disappear. In order to be seen by ordinary people, the female ghost Xiaohong needs to consume a certain amount of energy to make herself visible. The tree demon Xiaolu does not have this trouble. But why do these light spirits consume precious energy and appear in front of humans? Xiaoming can't understand. A slightly more reliable guess is that their intelligence is only equivalent to that of small animals, and they may really just show up for fun. Take a closer look. Hey, Xiaoming seems to see an acquaintance. Among these 5 light spirits, there is still the light spirit that first contacted him and accepted a little of his source energy. Light spirits really have memories. It should be considered life, right? When old friends meet, Xiaoming will certainly not be stingy, and silently transmit green source energy to this light spirit. The light spirit that only received Xiaoming's original silver source energy, after receiving the green source energy, the change occurred naturally. In the past, Xiaoming could only see a human-like outline in the light ball. It can be confirmed that it is an alien. This time the outline of the alien is clearer, it is a humanoid creature. It also has 2 arms and 2 legs, and walks upright. In terms of details, such as skin, joints, etc., Xiaoming can't see clearly at all. After all, this one in front of him is a ghost, he will not show his appearance before death completely. So all Xiaoming could tell was very simple information. This creature is about the same size as humans, but its brain is much longer than humans. His appearance is blue-purple, and I don't know if it is the color of aliens or alien ghosts. But it doesn't matter, appearance and other things are trivial. Confirming that the other party is an intelligent race is the big deal. The souls of the light spirit race float in space. Are they a ground race? Or a space race? Do they have high-tech civilizations? Are they creatures of this galaxy? Do they have magic? With so many souls drifting in space, is their race still alive? Or has it become extinct? Xiaoming has seen undead soldiers in the neighboring Yan Emperor galaxy. In other words, undead magic can be realized in the Yanhuang 3-star system. So what are these scattered souls? Why didn't they transform into undead, but only exist in the form of ghosts? There is a hell on Pangu star. Xiaoming has seen Hei-Va-Chang. Is there something like the hell in this galaxy? By the way, Xiaoming doesn't know how large the scope of the underworld of Pangu star can be controlled. Maybe it doesn't even cover Pangu completely, maybe it covers the solar system, or even the Milky Way. Who knows? In addition, do the space insects in the Chu galaxy know this group of aliens? Have they dealt with them? There are many similar questions, and I can ask them for 3 days and 3 nights. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 225. There are almost no clues at the moment, so these questions are meaningless for the time being. There is no way to start. Lu Xiaoming did not even tell the military about what he saw about the alien ghost. On the one hand, this is something he observed from his personal perspective. If he said it rashly, it would not be easy to be accepted. He also had to describe and explain it to others impatiently. This is too troublesome. If he had that time, he could do something else. Xiaoming did not mind whether others believed him or not, but the point was to be afraid of trouble. It was better for them not to believe him, so that they could still say "I told you so" a long time ago in the future. On the other hand, Xiaoming believed that there were probably other people in this fleet who could see the outline of the alien ghost. After all, there were reincarnations in the fleet. although there were no other reincarnations in this room at the moment. However, as long as the military's reincarnations were lucky enough, they would have the opportunity to meet the alien ghost that was enhanced by their own source energy. Then he would have a certain possibility of seeing the outline of the alien ghost in the light ball. Compared to what Xiao Yang said, the military would definitely be more receptive to what the reincarnations inside the army said. But if they are unlucky, the military's reincarnations always encounter other light spirits, but never encounter those strengthened by Xiao Ming. Then, wait until he is lucky. Anyway, Xiao Ming is not in a hurry. As for whether the military is in a hurry or not, it is not Xiao Ming's business. Then Xiao Ming inputted green source energy into the other 4 light spirits in turn. Green Xiao Ming only has green source energy. Maybe it is because the green source energy is of higher quality. After inputting the source energy, Xiao Ming observed the other 4 light spirits and could see the alien ghosts at their core. The body size is roughly the same, with a slight difference in height, weight, and thinness. It can be seen that they are of the same race. Probably. The 5 light spirits seemed to be grateful to Xiao Ming, and each light spirit transferred a little from itself into the body of green Xiao Ming. No, to be precise, it entered the soul consciousness of green Xiao Ming. This is considered a courtesy. And it was not only Zhang Xiaoliang who received the gratitude of the light spirit. At the same time, in the same fleet, on the small space transport ship number 11072 of Muniu, Xiao Ming, who was possessed by Yin Xiaoming, was also receiving a return gift from a light spirit. Xiao Ming was actually still in the game cabin, but he had not logged into the game or his personal space. He was originally sleeping. It is said that if you don't enter the game, just lie in the game cabin and sleep. It is very similar to the vampire sleeping in the coffin in Western legends. After Yin Xiaoming possessed here, he did not play the game immediately, but waited for the light spirit to appear. Because Xiaoming knew the habits of the light spirit. The light spirit always appeared in groups, and then disappeared in groups. It is impossible that there are only light spirits on the Liehua destroyer, there must be other places. As expected, Yin Xiaoming waited for a while, and then waited for a strange light spirit. Yin Xiaoming transmitted source energy to it, and then accepted the return gift. There is a sense of ritual and déjà vu of offering Hada blessings to each other. Xiaoming knew that Xiaoming was now under close scrutiny. This scene would surely be seen and remembered by many people, reported to the superiors, and confused in their minds. This was exactly Xiaoming's purpose, one of them, to make the water more muddy. It was almost impossible for anyone to think that Zhang Xiaoliang and Xiaoming were manipulated by the same person at the same time. This was beyond common sense. Then, the phenomenon that both of them could attract the light spirits would surely arouse the interest of all parties. No matter which force or which researcher, it is estimated that they would be in pain and joy. Discovering unknown situations not only represents further intelligence, but also more questions. It is estimated that everyone will have a few strands of white hair. Xiaoming did this mainly to confuse the sight, the more chaotic the better. There was also a little bit of mischief in it. Come on, hurt each other. You big forces have made me nervous. I won't let you have an easy time either. Who is afraid of who? The light spirits that have absorbed the source energy have stronger life energy. Xiaoming could also sense some small changes in emotions. Suddenly, Xiaoming felt that they seemed to be leaving. In order to see clearly how they left, Xiaoming let go of the circle, and was blocked by the heavy walls of the Liehua destroyer. Xiaoming's circle could only cover a range of about 100 to 200 meters. Soon, the light spirits dimmed, extinguished, and disappeared one after another in the sight of everyone. In Xiaoming's perception, after they extinguished, they actually stayed in place for a few seconds. Then suddenly disappeared. They did not fly away, nor did they penetrate the wall. Instead, they disappeared suddenly, as if they had moved away instantly. Is it so magical? What a high-end way of moving. Could it be that aliens have also learned ninjutsu? Because Xiao Ming had experienced the secret realm of Naruto not long ago, he immediately thought of ninjutsu substitute technique. This is a joke, of course, but Lu Xiaoming did feel something vague from the way they left, but he couldn't be sure. After that, Lu Xiaoming had to deal with those officers and scientific researchers. This is a group of 100,000 Ys. And Xiaoming was also very helpless. You just ask me, as if I know. I don't know anything either. But he signed the agreement. No matter how much Lu Xiaoming disliked this matter, he couldn't just walk away. Luckily, there is a real 1.2 task. Xiaoming split half of his soul to go out and play games, so you didn't withdraw, right? He, I feel like I'm taking advantage of the public. Then Yin Xiaoming became a minotaur. He wasn't entered. I'm so ashamed that Xiaoming, a single dog, doesn't even qualify to be entered. He really became a minotaur. It's the monster with a bull's head and a human body in Western legends, not the bull-headed and horse-faced monster in the underworld. It turns out that Xiaoming, as a military reserve, is more likely to be assigned to the battlefield of Nuwastar when he randomly enters the secret realm. This is natural. The military must need the reserve soldiers to gradually become familiar with combat. What better training method is there than actual combat? So this time he won the prize. Today, Xiaoming, who is possessed, is a genetically modified replica of the famous high-level monster Minotaur. It's different from before. Before, I didn't look in the mirror and couldn't see my appearance. Now, Xiaoming only needs to cover Xiaoming's whole body with telekinesis to know what he looks like. More than 2 meters tall, with huge bull head and horns. The characteristics are too obvious. Full of strong muscles, with both strength and speed. Yin Xiaoming can clearly feel the surging energy in his body and the strong desire to fight. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 226. The gene modification technology of the New Han Kingdom is really amazing. Zhang Xiaoming never thought that he could transform his genes into a minotaur. It feels like this has far exceeded the scope of science and technology, and it may require the intervention of extraordinary power to achieve it. If it weren't for the awkward posture now, Xiaoming would like to applaud the technological level of his motherland. Because Xiaoming is now lying on the ground, and he can feel a big wound on his abdomen. This is the first time that this situation has happened. When the consciousness is transmitted, it is not a normal and healthy body. It is a wounded body, which is 3 times stranger than possessing a minotaur. However, Xiaoming feels that the surging energy and desire to fight in his body are not false. Although the current injury is not light, it is not enough to kill the strong minotaur. In this regard, Xiaoming guessed that the buddy who just operated this body probably lost the line for some reason. He went online and picked up a ready-made one. But is it really good for the system to arrange it like this? So that buddy, what should I do if I want to go online again? Xiaoming is also worrying about nothing. This is a battlefield, not a game. Is there still time for the soldiers to save and read the files? In the fierce battle, people often go offline, and then the system will quickly send people or intelligent programs to fill the position. The battle cannot be delayed. Xiaoming pretended to be dead on the surface. He quietly released the circle. Before Xiaoming could make any reaction, Mao Mao took the lead. Once the circle was activated, Mao Mao saw the surrounding situation earlier than Xiaoming. In fact, Mao Mao saw it with Xiaoming, but the reaction of artificial intelligence is much faster than that of humans. Before Xiaoming's brain had processed the information, Mao Mao had already known Xiaoming's current situation. A dozen short monsters like rat spirits on the ground and 6 or 7 bat spirits in the air rushed towards the Minotaur possessed by Xiaoming from all directions. Looking at those blood-red eyes, they are definitely not here to save the dying or to communicate with each other. Hot-blooded Neza immediately started automatically, transformed into 4 metal arms, holding 4 submachine guns, and began to shoot around. I didn't expect that the mouse spirit and bat spirit, who are so small, are actually quite resistant. Even if they are hit in the vitals by bullets, it takes more than a dozen shots to make them fall to the ground. If you want to kill them completely, you need to add more than a dozen bullets. No wonder when Xiaoming first came to the battlefield of Nuwastar, the hot weapons he saw were all super heavy machine guns. Ordinary light firearms are really not good. The submachine gun used by Malmoer was brought out by Xiaoming in the biochemical crisis secret realm of the reincarnation space. It's no problem to deal with zombies and humans. It's really difficult to deal with these natives of Nuwastar creatures blessed by magic energy. Now that he has started, Xiaoming can't pretend to be dead anymore. Use healing magic on his wounds first. Soon the blood stopped flowing and the wounds healed. In order to reduce the target, Xiaoming did not stand up, but turned over and sat up. He also took out a submachine gun from the bright summit with both hands and shot at the enemies around him. Xiaoming is not yet able to use a submachine gun with one hand. He can only shoot in a normal posture. Maybe someone will ask, how can Xiaoming judge who is the enemy and who is the friendly army? Obviously, the friendly army may also be a monster. This problem is solved by the military's computer system. Although it is impossible to install chips or identification marks on the enemy, it can be installed on our own people. All our soldiers and clones have a lot of electronic components implanted in their bodies from the beginning. The identification device around them is just one of them. In the eyes of the Minotaur, all friendly troops on our side have green marks. Those without marks can be regarded as enemies. After firing a few shots, Xiaoming found that he was doing it in vain and even wasting bullets. As an artificial intelligence, Malmoer has Xiaoming's telepathic ability circle to help him detect. He operates 4 submachine guns and shoots wherever he points. 360 degrees without dead angles, full screen coverage. It almost never misses the target, and never hurts friendly forces. There is no harm without comparison. Xiaoming's shooting skills are unbearable. He fired more than a dozen shots, but didn't hit a single target. Xiaoming simply stopped and carefully observed the situation. This battlefield is in a very huge underground cave. Xiaoming can't see the edge of the other side of the nearly 1,000-meter circle. Only the rock wall a few hundred meters above his head and the stone wall not far behind him told Xiaoming that this is underground. In the vast battlefield, thousands of monsters are fighting. At first glance, Xiaoming didn't see any humans. All the monsters are fighting, and they are all using cold weapons. Xiaoming is the only one who uses hot weapons in the whole scene. Although I got some hot weapons from the world of Resident Evil. But the number is limited, and it is not enough to fill them all on this battlefield. Seeing that the threats nearby were all shot away by Malmoer, Xiaoming decisively put the submachine gun back into Guangmingding. He stood up and instructed Malmoer to pick up 4 long knives from the ground. Holding it in Neza's hand, Yin Xiaoming used the energy to strengthen the quality of the long sword. In just a few seconds, several more rat spirits and bat spirits rushed over from a distance. Hot-blooded Neza swung the sword with 4 arms and used several Naga sword techniques. Several rays of sword light flashed by. Look at those little monsters again, their weapons, bodies, flesh and bones were all cut in two. Like cutting tofu. This is much easier. Mao Mao can handle the battle. He controlled the hot-blooded Neza to attack all enemies that entered the range. Xiaoming focused on finding injured friendly soldiers and cast healing spells on them. He also summoned uniformed nurses to treat the wounded together. Before long, a large team was formed. There were 6 Ratmen, 2 Batmen, 7 Lizardmen, and 2 Minotaurs in the team. Minotaurs acted as meat shields, Ratmen and Batmen acted as assassins, and Lizardmen acted as archers, and a small combat group was formed. Xiao Ming's Minotaur did not mix with them, but used shaving to move at high speed and continued to treat other friendly soldiers. In fact, when no one was paying attention, Xiao Ming also cast Death Harvest and Corruption spells. A large number of bones and death breath were collected. It was just that the battlefield was too chaotic, and the undead soldiers created by the occasional Death Harvest were instantly killed by both the enemy and us. The undead soldiers created by themselves had no identification devices on their bodies and could not be identified by friendly forces. And the undead soldiers could not tell which of these monsters with the same appearance was a friendly force and which was an enemy. This occasion was really not suitable for undead soldiers to fight. Xiao Ming just focused on collecting materials and treating the wounded. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 227. With Xiao Ming's activeness, he rescued hundreds of people and formed more than a dozen teams, and his own combat effectiveness was significantly enhanced. The situation that the two sides were evenly matched was slowly changing. The balance of victory began to tilt towards Xiao Ming's side. Although Xiao Ming is not very clear now, which side his side is. The enemy is not a fool. Yin Xiao Ming's operations naturally attracted the attention of some enemies. Finally, 3 Minotaurs rushed towards Xiao Ming. Xiao Ming happened to be alone. Seeing the enemy's posture, he was scared again. He turned around and ran away, not daring to fight head-on. He possessed the Minotaur himself and had a better understanding of the Minotaur's physical fitness. In a word, very strong. According to the data in the game, it is at least the level of a Tier 3 soldier. Xiao Ming himself cannot fully exert the physical attributes of the Tier 3 soldiers. He can only exert half of his strength. But those 3 enemies can definitely play freely. Using half a Tier 3 soldier against 3 Tier 3 soldiers. Haha, of course Xiao Ming had to run. If he was smarter, he should have joined his own team and relied on his teammates to deal with the enemy. But Xiao Ming had no experience, so of course he ran to a place with few people and ran as hard as he could. He was afraid of bumping into people. The 3 Minotaurs who were chasing him thought this was great. They were afraid that you would get into the crowd and then be lost. Now you run to a place with few people, that's your own death. Hey! Where are the people? Where did this stone come from? Xiao Ming certainly didn't just run away stupidly. On the way, he spotted a stone and established a connection with it with chakra. Then when he ran far enough, Xiao Ming used ninjutsu, substitution technique. He swapped positions with the stone. The 3 Minotaurs immediately lost their target. Under certain circumstances, substitution technique is indeed very effective. If Xiao Ming only relied on the high-speed movement effect of shaving, he would not be able to escape the enemy's pursuit. Hu. Although he only ran for a while, Xiao Ming was exhausted and panting. Let's take a rest first. Xiao Ming quietly moved to the corner, where there was a big stone next to him to block other people's sight. It was a perfect hiding place. After resting for a quarter of an hour, Xiao Ming poked his head out to look at the battlefield outside. Don't move, look with your peripheral vision. Suddenly someone spoke. Who is talking? Xiao Ming was also shocked. There was someone nearby who had not been detected by his circle. SHH, speak softly. Are you afraid that people can't hear you? The voice was dissatisfied. Xiao Ming looked in the direction of the voice. The owner of the voice was a lizard man lying on the ground, his face covered with blood and dirt. On him were the bodies of a rat man and a bat man. If you don't look closely, you can't tell that he is a living person. Not to mention looking, even Xiao Ming's circle couldn't detect his life energy. This guy definitely has a special skill to hide his life energy. Xiaoming really admires him very much. So he whispered to him. Okay, brother. You hid well enough. How dare I, big brother, you are not bad either. I am eat grapes without spitting out grape skins, please take care of me when you meet me in the future. My name is the researcher, take care of each other, take care of each other. If the other party had not reported the game name, Xiaoming would have almost called himself the leader. Xiaoming knew that this was the real world, but most of the players did not know. The one in front of him obviously did not know, and really thought this was a secret place in the game. Oh. Maybe someone will ask, why does Xiaoming think this is not a secret place in the game? There are many reasons. First of all, the universal equipment Iron Blood Neza is missing from the right arm. Secondly, the things in Guangmingding were all put in the real world. Finally, the most important reason is feeling. Due to frequent body switching, Xiaoming now has a more accurate sense of reality and games. In the past, Xiaoming relied on the five senses of the human body to sense everything in the surrounding world. Now Xiaoming relies more on telekinesis, and even on a deeper level of source energy to sense the world. He can see the world around him more clearly. Whether in the game or in reality, Xiaoming can judge by feeling. Even by feeling alone, he can tell the difference between Pangu star and Nuwa star. This is also the only way for most extraordinary people to feel the world in a way beyond the five senses. Of course, Xiaoming will not take the initiative to tell Brother Grape that this is the real world. That is purely out of boredom, everyone has their own fate. However, Xiaoming is very interested in Brother Grape's ability to avoid his detection. So he asked in a low voice. Brother, you are really good at hiding. I have been hiding here for a long time and no one has found me. Haha, thank you. Brother Grape is also proud of his ability. I have been hiding since I was a child. I have never been found by children playing hide and seek. You are really gifted, Xiaoming admired sincerely. It seems that this buddy is born with this ability. At first, Xiaoming suspected that he was a reincarnation. But without seeing his ring, he thought it was unlikely. It seems that he has an undeveloped superpower like himself. Even Zhang Wen can have a mind beast before learning mind power. It is not surprising that there is another Brother Grape with superpowers. Next, the two had a friendly exchange about the situation of the secret realm. Brother Grape is a player on Pangu Star. He also came here randomly in a daze. He came earlier than Xiaoming. Then he has been hiding here for so long. It is not known whether it is lucky or unlucky for a player from Pangu Star to come to Nuwa Star randomly. However, Xiaoming still admires Brother Grape very much, especially his endurance. Even if he can lie down, can his bladder bear it? Brother Grape has no idea of Xiaoming's mischievous thoughts. He has been lying here for several hours, bored to death, and does not want to die and exit the secret realm, so he can only endure it. It's rare to meet someone to chat with. This chat box is opened and can't be closed. Fortunately, he is a good storyteller. He talked about his various adventures in the Magic Planet game. Xiaoming originally thought that he would rest for a while and then fight his way out again. But he was unknowingly attracted by his story and completely forgot about fighting his way out again. Soon, Green Xiaoming got away from Xiaoliang and also possessed Xiaoming. Let's listen to Grape's story about the past. At the same time, we have to doubt life. Are we playing the same game? Why does it feel like Grape lives a more colorful life than Xiaoming? At the same time, in Xiaoming's conscious soul, the return gifts given to him by several light spirits are slowly merging together, forming something new and unknown. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 228. Eat grapes without spitting out the skins. When the storytelling came to a temporary end, Xiaoming's Minotaur said goodbye and left. Grape Brother did not try to keep him, he had been talking for almost an hour. In fact, his mouth was a little dry, just in time to take a break. Why did Xiaoming leave? Because at this moment, Xiaoming's two souls merged, which meant that he could activate his alien clone Xiaohe. It was rare to have a high-quality host here, so why not use it quickly? And Xiaoming did not need to defeat the enemies wounded were actually everywhere. Xiaoming just had to pick them up. Whether it was a game or reality, you had to pick up the wounded frequently. The seriously injured Minotaur was stuffed into Guangmingding by Xiaoming. With the suppression of Xiao Hong, Xiao Lu, and others, they could not cause any trouble. Of course, Xiaoming paid great attention to safety. When picking up the host, he used Ju to hide himself well. It's just that this battlefield is a little higher end, and Xiaoming's Ju can't hide all the enemies. Rat people are easy to deceive. If you encounter a Minotaur, you will basically be discovered. But the battlefield is too chaotic. Even if an enemy finds Xiaoming, no one has the time to come and deal with him. Instead, they have to be wary of Xiaoming coming over to attack. Seeing Xiaoming leave, they can't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Of course, if it were one of our own people, seeing Xiaoming not taking the initiative to help, but just wandering around the field, they would probably be very angry. In this way, Xiaoming wandered around the battlefield for more than 10 minutes and gathered the hosts he needed. Then Xiaoming even hid himself in the bright summit. Parasitism, hatching, and growth. Soon, the third to 10th of the alien children also grew up. The eldest and the second are already there, obtained by parasitic crawlers. Xiaoming does not plan to change for the time being. The third to the 8th are all alien warriors, and their body size is similar to that of the eldest and the second, that is, the size of a large police dog. As the royal guards, the 9th and the 10th are even bigger, like two big grey wolves. Look at the alien lord controlled by Green Xiaoming, it looks more than 2 meters tall, about the same as a minotaur. Alas, Xiaoming is very emotional. I am used to seeing their size in the game, and now they have shrunk so much, I am not used to it. Moreover, their size is small, and their combat power is also weak. Their combat power is about one level lower than in the game. Still, because he can't distinguish between the enemy and us, Xiaoming dare not take them to the main battlefield to participate in the war. So he can only take them to explore/outing. Besides, Xiaoming has seen the battlefield, and he has no interest in it. The battlefield is not for him to play. Xiaoming's mentality is still a player's mentality, not a serious soldier. He wants to play in this underground cave because there are many cave passages here, and he doesn't know what is deep in the passage. But Xiaoming remembered the two tasks he had done, the nameless mountain and the mysterious cave. So he was in a childish mood and decided to play in the passage. He is interested and wants to play, which means that Xiaoming is in a good mood now. Did he encounter something good? I guess so. Actually, part of the reward from Captain America 1 has been acquired. In the game, the setting for issuing Secret Realm rewards is as follows. There are two main categories of rewards. One is general rewards, which can be used in the main game and other secret realms, including items, skills, etc. This kind of reward will be issued to the player after the game system calculates after the player finishes the secret realm. This calculation is very fast most of the time, and you get it almost immediately. For example, the reward of the Arctic Ice game, Finger Magic. Sometimes, it takes a while to calculate, and then the issuance will be delayed. For example, the reward of Alien vs Predator 1, Alien Clone. In order to deduce and calculate this ability, it took the system a long time. Because the alien clone has been integrated by Xiaoming into his own ability. So Xiaoming has never known that the essence of the alien clone is a general skill rewarded by the game system. There is also a special case, that is, when the player completes the hidden task, the reward is issued to the player immediately, without having to wait until the secret realm ends. Xiaoming's general items, T-Virus and Antidote, that's how they came about. The other type is progress rewards, rewards that can only be used in the secret realm and related secret realms. For example, the player's character's funds, status, etc. This will not be notified to the player at the end of the secret realm. The player will know when he enters the secret realm next time. Because the system does not know which progress the player will log into next time. So it must be calculated at that time. The reward Xiaoming just got is, General Item Human Enhancement Potion Type 2. Produced in the Captain America 1 Secret Realm. Can improve physical fitness. The description of the potion's function is very vague. Its specific effect will also depend on different secret realms. It is not surprising that Xiaoming can get this reward. When the only remaining potion was broken, he picked up a part of the potion that was spilled on the ground. It is normal for the system to make up for it. The reason why it has been delayed until now. Because the system is waiting. Within a certain period of time, if Xiaoming enters the secret realm in time, he can still participate in the raid. In that case, the reward will be calculated separately. But Xiaoming has never entered the Captain America 1 secret realm again. After the time limit is exceeded, the system can deduce. The progress reward will be known when Xiaoming enters next time. Now I get the general reward, Strengthening Potion. 12 aliens of different sizes were sneaking in the underground passage of Nuwa Star. Xiaoming also put on an alien suit. Brothers fight together, and fathers and sons fight together. Just like in the cave of the magic planet. The family of aliens acted collectively again. There was also a very obvious difference. Except for Xiaoming, the size of the whole family shrank collectively. On the magic planet, Xiaohe, who was more than 4 meters tall, led 10 children who were more than 2 meters tall, plus an alien suit explorer who was less than 2 meters tall. Here, Xiaohe, who was more than 2 meters tall, and the alien suit Minotaur, who was more than 2 meters tall, led 10 children who were more than 1 meter tall. It really felt more like a family outing. If you don't look at the faces, it's still very warm. Aimless exploration/outing, of course, won't have any great results. Xiaoming didn't even have a specific direction. He just took his family to run around in the cave. This is not a game. The system will arrange monsters or treasure chests for players. This is the real world. There were no more treasure chests. Occasionally, there were a few monsters, but it was useless to kill them. It was nothing more than a few high-quality corpses. Xiaoming had already picked up a lot of this kind of things. After an hour or two, Xiaoming was quite bored. Just when he was about to give up, Yuan sensed that a group of enemy remnants were retreating towards him along this passage. Finally, there was something to do. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 229. This small group of orc enemy remnants, about 30 people. Most of them are a bit wretched ratmen. There are also a few other races. There is only one Tauren, who is seriously injured and unconscious. He is carried by several dog-headed men. It is estimated that he is still a bit of status, otherwise he would have been abandoned long ago. Although Xiaoming has never seen Ratman, Tauren, and Batman in the game. But it does not prevent Xiaoming from classifying them as orcs. Because Xiaoming has seen Lizardmen in the game. Besides, since the military can train Tauren, they will be seen in the game sooner or later in the future. This group of orcs did not die on the battlefield, which is somewhat different from the character of the orcs in the game. Is this the true character of the orcs, or are they not really pure orcs? I saw this group of orcs dragging their weapons, dejected and stumbling in the passage. No one in the whole team spoke at all. They looked like dogs that had lost their homes and had given up on life. Such decadent morale was really embarrassing for the orcs, but it was a good thing for Xiao Ming. These orcs had no vigilance at all. No one noticed that Xiao Ming had hidden a large number of telekinetic bombs in the passage. When the remnants of the army completely entered the ambush circle, the bombs exploded collectively under Xiao Ming's remote control. Huge sound waves and shock waves, wrapped in fire and smoke, gushed out along the passage to both sides. Even Xiao Ming, who was ambushing in the distance, was almost blown away. Fortunately, Xiao Ming had been prepared. Not only did he collect all the aliens first, but he also hid himself behind a solid boulder. Xiao Ming was finally not blown away by the shockwave, but he was inevitably covered in dust. Now, he couldn't see clearly what the orcs looked like after being blown up. Because Xiao Ming couldn't master the equivalent of the telekinetic bomb very well. Obviously, too much was put in this time, and the whole section of the cave was blown down. The passage was blocked by rubble. According to Xiao Ming's original plan, he would send the alien children in to make up for the loss. Now there is no need, because they can't squeeze in at all. The orcs buried inside are probably completely dead. Unfortunately, there is no reward in the real world. The ambush plan was a great success. Although the group of defeated soldiers did not survive, Xiao Ming also lost himself. Although the shockwave of the explosion did not hurt Xiao Ming himself, it shook the structure in the cave. The cave in the other direction also collapsed. Xiao Ming was trapped in this section of the passage. It was a big mistake. But Xiao Ming didn't care. In fact, he had been wandering around underground for so long that he was tired of it. It was a good opportunity to exit the secret realm. Shortly after Xiao Ming's consciousness left, a shadow appeared out of thin air in the cave, like a large drop of ink dripping on a piece of white paper. The shadow gradually spread out, and finally formed the outline of a birdman with wings. The whole body was pitch black, but the eyes were very bright. He stretched out his bird claws, fiddled with the minotaur who collapsed on the spot, tilted his head, and seemed a little curious. He looked at the collapsed passage again and shook his head. Finally, he grabbed the body of the minotaur left by Xiao Ming and disappeared again. Cause and effect cycle, heaven and earth are fair. Xiao Ming picked up a lot of orc corpses, but his corpse was also picked up by someone. Xiao Ming, who returned to Pangustar, finally discovered the small changes in his soul consciousness. He discovered the gifts given to him by many light spirits, the thing after they were gathered together. Yin blowing 4 boats in Xiao Ming's perception, it was just a small bean, and it was very small. But what he could confirm was that this small bean was definitely not a harmful thing. Xiao Ming left the game cabin and lay on his bed. Close your eyes and feel the small bean carefully, but still can't recognize what it is. Anyway, it is harmless, so Xiao Ming decided to feed it with his own energy. Maybe he can recognize it when it grows up. Who knew that this little Doudou was small and had a small appetite? After eating a few mouthfuls of energy from Xiao Ming, he stopped eating. It looks like it will take a while to grow up. Or he can collect a few more gifts from the light spirit. Thinking of the almost spotless life energy of the light spirit, Xiao Ming smiled and slowly fell asleep. On June 15, it was a little after 5 a.m. Xiao Ming in the full-time hunter secret realm once again felt the benefits of the special game cabin. His character Mutiou was originally just a teenager in a remote mountain village. After becoming an outstanding hunter, he was respected and envied by the whole village. The reason why hunter is in quotation marks is that in this secret realm, the title of hunter has another meaning. It's just that these ignorant villagers don't know the outside world at all. After entering the secret realm, Xiao Ming went into the forest to hunt again. But he unexpectedly met a stranger. A tall man with a short crew cut and a small mustache on his chin. He looked smart and capable. He wore a well-tailored suit, which looked particularly out of place in the forest. The reason why he appeared in front of Mutio was because Xiaoming had just used the telekinetic skill Dan Lulu when hunting. It was very similar to the skill he usually used, so he took the initiative to come out to exchange feelings. He even performed a trick on the spot, using a few coins to kill two beasts that were 3 times larger than elephants. This person's name is Wuotong, the current CEO of the Zaldik family's butler. Although he speaks in a friendly manner, his powerful telekinesis makes Xiaoming feel a great pressure. Of course, this is also because telekinesis is the indigenous power of the hunter's secret realm. So in the hunter's secret realm, telekinesis is much stronger than in other worlds. In other words, Xiaoming's telekinesis is actually stronger than usual, but Xiaoming has not yet experienced it. Not feeling the other party's malice, Xiaoming borrowed flowers to offer Buddha, took the beast knocked down by Wuotong, and performed a monk's barbecue. Monk's barbecue is a magic skill, not just lighting a fire and grilling meat. With Xiaoming's little source energy blessing, Wuotong was so amazed by this barbecue meal. He decided to recruit Mewtwo on the spot to become the trainee butler of the Zaldik family. Xiaoming thought that his food strategy was effective, but in fact, Wuotong admired this teenager who had mastered telekinesis. Originally, Xiaoming was still hesitating whether to accept this butler job. But the conditions proposed by Wuotong were irresistible. The small mountain village where Mutio lived was actually located on the land occupied by the Zaldik family. In principle, the entire village belonged to the Zaldik family. Wuotong's condition was that he would be responsible for the food, clothing, housing, and transportation of the village for many years. Xiaoming could refuse such a condition, but Mutio would never refuse it. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 230. Hunter x Hunter Secret Realm, Progress 2. Xiaoming is now in the first test site of the Hunter test. It is another huge underground space. Fortunately, this time it is not a cave, but a man-made building. He has been in the underground cave for too long, and now he wants to vomit when he sees the cave. When Xiaoming accepted Wuotong's invitation and became an apprentice housekeeper, Progress 1 ended. This incomplete chapter made Xiaoming very uncomfortable. Faced with the choice given by the system, he happily chose to continue to Progress 2. Time went back about half a year. Xiaoming did not enter the interior of the Zaldik family. He has been practicing telekinesis in the small village. According to the plot, Wuotong would often come to the village during this period to teach Mutio's practice. Of course, he also brought a lot of living supplies to the small village. He even set up a simple elementary school. I hope the project is well done. In principle, this small village has always belonged to the Zaldik family. But Wuotong is not interested in other people. He is only interested in Mutio, the little genius of telekinesis. After Wuotong's training, Mutio's telekinesis has been greatly enhanced. But it is limited to this role. Xiaoming's own telekinesis has not been improved. When Xiaoming enters the game, it depends on how much he can use the strength of the wood. Then, Xiaoming received the task issued by Wuotong. Quietly sneak into the hunter qualification exam. It doesn't matter whether he can pass or not, the main thing is to protect the young master Killua along the way. Of course, don't take action unless it is absolutely necessary. After that, the system continued to deduce, and he inexplicably came to the location of the first round of the hunter exam. This exam room was not found by Xiaoming's own ability, but was directly stuffed by the system progress. Given the complexity of the hunter's first test, since the player is not familiar with everything in the hunter world, Xiaoming may not be able to find it himself. Fortunately, there is a special game warehouse to help him solve this problem. If he still uses the previous civilian game warehouse, Xiaoming may be stuck in the first test for a long time. I thought it was a job for watching children, and Xiaoming didn't take it seriously at the beginning. When I arrived at the venue, my God! There are hundreds of people here, and none of them are weak. They are at least equivalent to advanced first-level soldiers, and most of them have reached second level. Wutong actually let me protect the young master among such a group of people. This is too much of a compliment to me. If Killua is also at this level, then who will protect whom? At this time, Xiaoming also underestimated himself. His own telekinesis, plus the growth of the character Mutio, combined with the bonus of telekinesis in the secret realm. His strength is already quite strong. If the aliens that Wutong doesn't know are counted, Xiaoming can completely compete with real hunters. He is indeed capable of protecting the young master Killua. Of course, Wutong's thoughts are just to add insurance. After all, there is Ilmi. Sending Mutio here is at most to seek peace of mind. In fact, this is a plot arranged by the game system to help players cut into the main storyline. What's more strange is that among such a large group of masters, Xiaoming did not feel the presence of too many people with telekinesis ability. It seems that people with the ability to read are not everywhere in this secret realm. In order to explore the whole scene, Xiaoming tried to use double source energy to bless his circle. It was not for a more detailed exploration, nor for a wider range of investigation. Xiaoming just wanted to make his circle more obscene and more hidden. In the native secret realm of mind power, he must act with caution. This effort was indeed effective. After the enhanced circle was released, Xiaoming could already see through the whole scene. Although there were several masters with very strong mind power at the scene, no one reacted to Xiaoming's circle. Source energy is worthy of Xiaoming's golden finger, and the effect is great. There are two people in this group of masters who make Xiaoming shudder. One seems to be a clown, the other is covered with nails. They are both very powerful. They must be paid special attention. If these two want to hurt the little master, Xiaoming doesn't have the ability to resist. Of course, he doesn't know that the guy with nails is Killua's brother. He won't really hurt Killua. And if that clown really dares to hurt Killua, he will probably have to face the Nail Man first. Soon, the three protagonists of this secret realm, Gon, Kurapika, and Leorio appeared. The strength of these three people is still average, but their life energy makes people feel very comfortable. With Killua, the four protagonists of the Hunter x Hunter secret realm are all together. As for the young master Killua, Xiaoming recognized him early. It's just that Xiaoming is a little strange. As the young master of the Zaldik family, Killua can't use telekinesis. It seems a bit unscientific. Forget it, this is not something he, the trainee butler, should worry about. The family has its own considerations. Soon the first test began, and the test item was the marathon. This kind of endurance test is the easiest for Xiaoming. His source energy can replenish his energy at any time. Want to use up his double source energy, haha. However, Xiaoming's task is to protect in secret, so he just quietly followed the four protagonists along the way. He ignored all the tricks and intrigues of the examines. Wutong had taught Mutio for half a year, and some common sense was also input into Xiaoming's brain by the system. The most intuitive feeling was, there are not many good people in this world. The stronger the strength, the fewer good people there are. Being brave and aggressive is the norm. In Xiaoming's opinion, the intrigues among these candidates are all dog-eat-dog. He doesn't bother to pay attention to it. Under the leadership of this weird examiner with two small mustaches but no mouth, most people still successfully passed the test of the underground marathon. Came to the only way to enter the second game examination room, the lair of the fraudster Shimalu wetland. A huge primitive swamp jungle densely packed area. This kind of lively place is much more comfortable than the underground passage just now. As soon as Xiaoming came out, he felt extremely comfortable. The whole person was open. With the right time, place, and people, Xiaoming's circle was released directly to 2 kilometers away. Countless life energies were emitting, each with its own unique light. Xiaoming felt that the whole jungle was calling him, and there were too many things worth exploring. The butler of the Zaldik family is known for his dedication to his work. When there is a mission, he will never be distracted by other things. But Xiaoming is not a real butler. It's not because he is just an apprentice and hasn't learned to be dedicated. But because of Xiaoming's personality, how could he completely turn himself into someone else's appendage just because of the identity of the character in the game? He doesn't mind helping or obeying orders if it is in line with his subjective wishes. But if it doesn't meet his wishes, he will never go along with it.